Hello, this is Mr. Thinmint here. I'm going to do something a little different this time. I was thinking maybe I'll do a honest and hopefully really quick review of Iron Lung by Markiplier. It is currently 5:30 in the morning. I'm sleepy, but I had the sudden urge to do a little ditty on this because I think the movie is important in a way, and it's really good. I think people should watch it, and I figure what better way to get people to do so than to be one of a couple people posting a review on it. I'm gonna try to make this quick though, because it's 5:30 and I want to go back to bed. I'm gonna start with a hopefully short summary, not summary of the movie. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but like the blurb of like the movie, the plot. Then I'm gonna go into the few things that are wrong with the movie, and then what's good about the movie, because I like to end on a better note. I'm gonna preface this by saying the movie's pretty good. Go watch it. It's Markiplier. If you like Markiplier, you'll like the movie. If you like horror movies, you'll love the movie. If you like really unique, cool concepts, you'll love the movie. If you played the game Iron Lung, you'll love the movie. If you haven't watched haven't played Iron Lung, you might be a little confused maybe, but I'm sure you can pick up the plot pretty quickly and you'll love the movie. It's good. It's not perfect. There's things wrong with it. But what movies are. And I've seen worse, more prevalent flaws in better made movies. So they're not that bad. I'm going to preface this by saying all that. But first off, let's go with the plot of the movie. I'm in bed. See, in bed with pillows. Okay. So the plot of the movie is Markiplier plays a man named Simon, who is a prisoner who is sent down in this. It's not a makeshift submarine, but they had to do extra welds on it because it's not built to take the depth in which he's meant to go to. But he's a prisoner who's put onto a submarine, meant to dive down into a planet made of blood. The preface of the plot of this is that this happens after what they call the Quiet Rapture, which was an event where all the stars and planets with living life on it disappeared out of nowhere, leaving the universe next to empty, besides some empty moons, and then apparently this planet of blood that they find. All that's left is space. The space stations that were just left out going in space. But beyond that, there's no living life anywhere until they find this blood planet, and they're sending people down to find what all there could be down there, whether it's materials or food that they need to survive. And if Simon is able to dive down and come back up, he's supposed to be let free from his prison sentence. So that's the plot of the movie. I'm not going to reveal any more than that. So for the flaws of the movie. The movie is really good, but there are some things up with the movie. And you can chalk it up to a couple things. Where real simple things, and it's not that bad. But the pacing is a little slow. It is a 2-hour movie. And the action, the concept is there from the start. And if you're the kind of guy like me that gets hooked on a concept, you'll be fine. You'll like the movie from the get-go. But for the first bit, it's a bit of explanation, and then the first bit of the movie, the most you'll get is Mark being tossed around inside of a metal bucket, essentially. Stuff ramps up, but it does take it a little bit to do that. And there's also a thing where some scenes, he lets things linger a little too long. Just a smidge. A little too long. Where, like, he goes through an entire, like, action in a movie, whereas in a more professionally done movie, it had been skipped over. There's a critic that I read a critique on Facebook, and I agree a lot with what the guy said, and he explained some of these, and I agree with them. I forget what his name was, though, because I didn't look at his name. I just read the critique, where he was talking about this, and it's like, you know what, you're right. So the other thing is, so the movie takes place in just one setting, just the submarine, and I love the idea. Like there are plenty of good movies that only have one setting, like The Room. I freaking love The Room, but having things take place in only one spot can diminish what you can do in terms of exposition, in terms of explaining the plot. And in Iron Lung, in the movie Iron Lung, Markiplier builds up his own lore into the movie to give the character a story, and which is cool. But it's only mainly explained through a couple of insanity-driven flashbacks, and then exposition given to conversations between him and people on the speaker in the submarine. Alright? And things like that might be better explained in, like, a legitimate flashback or cutting to scenes with other people. But the only there's, like, one or two scenes with, like, other people, but beyond that, the only actor in the movie is Mark. That in of itself limits itself on what you can do to explain the lore of any movie. Any movie that only takes place in one place, you're limited on what you can do to explain your plot. And that does show in the movie, because things would be better explained if it was cut to different settings. But that's kind of about it for flaws of the movie, and to me, they're not that glaring. As the critic that I read had said it, paraphrasing, because it's 5:30 in the morning and I don't remember shit. I don't remember much. But he called it a flawed but important experiment, which is true. Now, Markiplier is a YouTuber, and I imagine he doesn't have a Hollywood-sized budget. He definitely doesn't have Hollywood backing, and so what he did, so he was limited to what he could do, and he also wanted to stay true to the game, which only took place on the submarine. And if you go in to the movie with that in mind, with that expectation, like he's trying to stay true to the game, and have it only take place in the submarine, then it makes perfect sense, and that problem is less of a problem. Like, I went in knowing for a fact it was going to take place only in the submarine. But down to the good things about the movie. First off, it looks very good. There's like one or two scenes in the movie where the blood looks kind of animated and kind of has more of a catch-up color than actual blood. Like, think like Sweeney Todd blood from the Sweeney Todd movie with Johnny Depp. It's like almost that level of blood a little bit, but it's only like one or two parts, and it's, again, not a big deal. But the rest of the movie is really well done. It looks really good. The monster looks really cool. The pictures from the scanner look really cool. So it is done really well. And once the action ramps up, the pacing gets better. Like a lot of the things where the scenes linger, it's more to the beginning, I think, and even the few bits near the second half of the movie, it's not bad. Like the actual pacing itself is pretty good, and it ramps up good. And the ending will leave you with mixed emotions on it and give you a lot to think about. The concept of the movie is really cool. I love like post-apocalypse scenarios, but like this is worse than a post-apocalyptic scenario. Hi, cat. It's worse than a post-apocalyptic scenario because at least in a post-apocalyptic scenario, there's stuff you could do to survive. In this, you've got nothing except this planet they found that probably alarmingly is like Neptune but blood. It is a planet of blood. So, and there's stuff in it throughout the movie. I'm not going to spoil much, but there's definitely some existential stuff. There's like talk of like God and what caused the Quiet Rapture, and it definitely goes into like who deserves to live and why, and things that are bigger than yourself. If somebody has thanatophobia, a fear of death, the like concept of death is talked about a lot, and that might squirm some people out. If you're definitely squeamish and don't like blood, that'll get you out. And claustrophobia, definitely. There's definitely things to be scared of. The movie didn't scare me, because I don't scare easily at all. I've been watching horror movies since I was a child. But there's definitely plenty to be scared of in the movie. I'm more hooked on the concepts than scary movies. But the movie itself is really important because it was made by a YouTuber with no Hollywood backing, and it shows what someone can do when they love something enough and give it enough respect. One of the big things for movies that are based off video games, a lot of movies like that aren't good. And aren't that good. And this one really is, because it's made by a guy who understands the gaming side, who understands the stories of the games, and respects them and loves them a lot. And the movie itself is really good, despite Markiplier not having a lot of experience in either directing or acting. I mean, he has some. He's made a movie. Not a movie. He's made a TV series, and he's done a lot of. He's done like voice acting work, and he acts. He's done a lot of skits on YouTube, and his acting does feel a lot how his YouTube channel acting does. Like, you do see that, and if you don't like how Markiplier acts, then you might not like it a whole lot. You might not like his acting a lot. But the more he does, the better he gets. The movie could have done with a more experienced director alongside him to show him more ropes on like cutting scenes and stuff like that. Like it could have done with another director alongside him to make the movie even better. But to me, the movie is really, really good. And I'm not going to make this a channel about movie reviews, but I felt like this movie was important enough as a standard setter for what non-professional actors and directors could do if they love something enough. And I feel like that's important to share. And I felt like the best way to do that would be to talk about it. And let people know the movie is flawed, but I've seen more flaws in better made movies. I've seen more flaws in grade A Hollywood movies. And it's definitely not a B movie. It's definitely done better than a B movie. The B movie. It's definitely better than B movie, for sure. You like jazz? But yeah, I don't have too much more to say. There's some flaws, but to me, they're not too glaring. If you're gonna see it in theaters, don't get a pop, because the movie is 2 hours long. And I spent the last half of the movie worried I was going to burst my bladder or ruin my jeans. Don't get a pop. Okay? Don't get a pop.